Excellent. And you should see my screen.
Yep, I see it.
Awesome. Okay. To register to do business with FEMA, all you have to have is the basic SAM registration to do business with FEMA. There's a box in SAM that says click here to do disaster recovery work. You want to make sure you click that box. If you self-certified, which is what you guys did, you did it in-house. You didn't, use an attorney or pay a professional to do it. You did it yourself. Here's the issue you may run into. I just want to give you all the facts, okay?
Okay.
In SAM right now, the System for Award Management, which is the government's primary payment system, you have to have a basic SAM registration to do any FEMA work and do any disaster recovery work. And most government contracts, period, whether it be FEMA or the DOD or NASA or whoever, you have to be in SAM and have the basic registration, okay? The problem is right now there's 1.2 million for-profit vendors in SAM. Over 900,000 of those are inactive. That leaves about 340,000 active for-profit vendors in SAM. Now, more than half of those are big business, but let's just say half are big and half are small. That means statistically there's only about 160,000 small businesses that are active in SAM right now. Out of those 160,000 that are active, I can only vouch that half of those are compliant because we've actually done 80,000 SAM registrations. I can guarantee you half of them are compliant. The other half may not be. That's a good thing because if they're not, they can't compete against you, which means there's very little competition in the system right now. And your timing is immaculate. One thing you're going to want to do, if you want to increase the amount of these contracts you'll have access to in the future, there's a few tricks that I have. Number one, you want to register with the Disaster Recovery Division in the state, county, and local government also, because states are more apt, county and local governments are more apt to declare disaster quicker because they're there. They know it's flooding. Their office is, up to elbows in water. So, yeah, of course they're going to declare disaster immediately, whereas FEMA would have to actually come out and do aerials and take, physical evidence that there's a disaster. So if the state or the local or the county government declares a disaster first and they hire you, when FEMA comes in and takes over, there's a good chance they'll keep you because you're already there and you're already in place.
That
makes sense?
That makes sense. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, you found the right guy here because that's a good way to get in the door with FEMA. I'm not going to sugarcoat
awesome
it.
Because that's a hard to see. If I have no clue how to get in it and put your foot in the door. This is the hardest part,
Well, I can help you get into all those state, local, and county disaster recovery divisions as well. And that's one of the biggest kept secrets out there. Everybody's like, oh, there's a disaster. I want to work for FEMA, but no one knows how to get in, And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. FEMA's not an easy agency to get into, but once you do get in with FEMA, these contracts can be huge.
Okay.
All right. How many helicopters you guys have access to?
Well, we could use 2 if we needed to, but we have 1 aircraft specifically. It's a Bell 206 that we would use to help.
Okay. Have you checked to see what else you guys qualify for? Because the more things you qualify for, the more beneficial it is for these agencies to hire you.
Well, you mean as far as the work we do?
Well, let me ask you about Let me ask you about ownership. How many owners are there?
There's 1.
Is it a male or a female?
Male.
Is he a minority?
He's from Germany.
He's not Hispanic, Asian, or African American?
No.
Okay.
No.
Is he a veteran?
No.
Shoot. Okay.
Yeah, no veteran.
Not a minority, not a veteran.
So if you're minority or veteran, you have better chances too?
Yeah. I mean, you'll have better chances because there are set-asides for minorities and veterans and women, 8As, hub zones, stuff like that.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah, I read this in the application.
The more you qualify for...
We're a small business.
Well, that's good because the small business set-aside is the largest. The small business set-aside is 23%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? How serious is he about doing this? Is he just kicking tires, or is this something he really wants to do?
No, that's something he really wants to do, and we're trying to. That's why, any type of we have. The thing is, this anytime we want to also help locally, which we do already. So like for fires and things like that, they call us, but You know, like for example, what happened just now in Texas, or even if we have get hit with a hurricane here, and we would be on like locally ready to go and help. We probably I have no clue how they're gonna point us out and say, hey, we have somebody who can actually help, because to my knowledge, there's so much paperwork involved, and it's so much like, you know, they have to come and test the aircraft, test the pilot before they can be put on contract. And it's like, you know, it's a clear the state of emergency, but let's figure out the paperwork first, you know, kind of deal.
Right.
So it's
Well,
like,
I mean, that's why I was asking how serious he is, because if this is
no,
something
he's very serious about it. Very serious about it.
is the government going to trust you guys to do a good job? How long has this company been in existence?
6 years.
And you know approximately what the revenues were last year?
Maybe a couple million.
Couple million? Okay. My suggestion is this. If this is something you guys are serious about and you want to get it done and get it done right, I would opt for the support. Let them process you. Let them get the registrations done properly. It doesn't take but a couple of days to do a lot of these. And let's focus on, you know, get in on my trainings. Let's focus on bidding and actually winning these things, and not wasting your time trying to figure out how to register properly.
Well, we are registered. I mean, the registrations are already done.
Yeah,
you know,
but again, there's a reason why 900,000 of the 1.2 million for-profit vendors are inactive right now. It's because they self-certified and they didn't do it right. And out of the ones that are active, doesn't mean they're compliant. I just don't want you investing your time trying to figure out the basic paperwork registration part of this when you should be working on bidding and winning contracts.
Yeah, and I'm sure you guys charge for that, do you?
I can get you over to procurement. They could do these registrations for you and have them done quickly, and then you and I can focus on training and bidding on these. Like I said, I don't do registrations. I don't ever want to do them. I never will. That's not my thing.
Okay. And then you guys charge for the service?
I can actually get you registrations at no charge that come included with my training.
Okay. All right.
So I think the best
what
thing
do I do?
When do you think you can get the owner in front of me so we can show him this stuff?
Well, I'm the one who's taking care of, but I mean, if I probably have them. Can you do it right now?
Sure.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay, so okay then. Hold on 1 second, okay? All right. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so he is busy. He told me to go ahead and I guess have you walk me through, and then I just relay the stuff to him.
Okay. All right, I'm checking to see if you guys are in a hub zone, because that's going to help. 34243.
What does that mean, hub zone?
Hub zones, historically, you're not, so it doesn't matter anyway. You're not even close to a hub zone. Oh, you guys are in an airport. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not even close to a hub zone. Hub zones it's another set aside, because he's not a minority or a veteran. It's the only other area he's going to qualify. He can't do an 8A because he's not a minority or a veteran or woman owned.
I see.
And the hub zone, he's not in it. So that's the only other set aside outside of small business that he could qualify for. I'm recording this for you, so either way, you can go back through it with him and
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, so we'll just get down to brass tacks.
Okay.
You've been watching my videos?
No.
How'd you find me?
How did I find you through the sign in online?
Oh, okay, yeah. I get referrals all the time. All right, you need to know who I am. If you go to YouTube, close that because we don't need that. If you go to YouTube and you search government contracts,
No, I can't pull anything up. What is it? So, wait a second.
if you hold down the Alt button and hit Tab, you can actually watch this.
No, I know it's my internet connection. I'm
Oh, okay.
having problems with right now. It must be the bad weather or something. Okay,
well,
just tell me about it because I can't get online right now. It
That's
kicks
fine.
me out of it.
That's fine. You can still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
All right. You go to
I don't
YouTube.
see your mouse moving. I don't think because my internet connection just failed.
You got a smartphone?
Yeah, I do.
Go to YouTube on your smartphone. Search government contracts.
Just government contract. That's it.
That's it. Don't put my name, nothing, just government contracts on YouTube. You're going to see 719,000 videos on YouTube under government contracts. See the guy in the white shirt with the purple tie?
Hold on, I'm looking. Yeah.
That's me. Out of 719,000 videos on YouTube, mine is number one, and I don't pay for that. That's all organic. Do you know anything about YouTube videos?
A little bit.
If you have a video
I got
on
you.
if you have a video on YouTube and it's got an average watch time of 2 minutes, it doesn't matter if it's 2 hours or 10 minutes long. If you got a video on YouTube and it has an average watch time of 2 minutes, that's really good. My videos have an average watch time of 14 minutes. That's why they come up number one. You search 8A. I think I'm even killing it on FEMA right now too.
So what is that you do then? I mean, what is?
I provide training. I train my clients on how to win government contracts, period. And when I say training, I mean we'll work on bids and solicitations together. You got a question about FAR 52.212-9, you can call me or email me. We work on that stuff together. I provide training that's annual, so you can sign up for 1 hour of training or a week of training or an annual training. And with that, I can include some of these registrations at no charge. Now, the way the training works is simple. You can get on any day at 1 or 4 Eastern. Every day, I do these like we're doing right now through GoToMeeting. I set up a training 1 and 4 o'clock, and you can log in and work on bids or ask questions, or you can just listen. Any question you have about anything government related, or you want to work on a bid together, we'll physically work on that bid together. And if you sign up with the annual training, I'll even give you some personal one-on-one training you can do outside the group session. You'll also be able to reach me via email anytime you got a quick question. You can't wait until 4 o'clock, or you need to submit a bid by 2 and you can't wait until 4. You're going to have direct access to me and to both my assistants to be able to answer questions and get this done right. The last thing you want to do is invest your time bidding on these contracts and then find out after submitting 10 or 15 of them that you didn't win, that you didn't win them because you weren't properly registered or you weren't submitting them properly. You want to do it and you want to do it right. The end goal would be to win contracts. And if you don't do it and you don't do it right and you're not registered properly, you're not going to win any contracts. Do you know what a debriefing is?
I'm just wondering because I mean, we do get like other government contracts and things like that. But the thing is, I wonder if they don't reach out in a state of an emergency, they're gonna reach out probably to companies that are in the closer vicinity. So once they, and obviously they're contacting the government right now. They have a bunch of military helicopters go out there, and there's the first ones they help, but there's also then other companies who are in closer vicinity. So I guess unless they exhaust their resources, they're not gonna go as far as Florida. That's what I'm thinking.
No, they're gonna go everywhere. They're gonna exhaust. I got a hit this morning. They're looking for 4,000 heavy water trucks. That's just one rental, one lease. Because they have to do it for pumping. They got to fill the trucks up, put the water in something to pump it and get it out of there.
Okay, so as far as aviation, since we need to go be certified, this is the problem where I'm having issues with.
Right.
Because nobody's going to put us on contract unless they have somebody have to come down here, inspect the aircraft, inspect, any helicopter, inspect the pilots who are flying it. So, I mean, this is not, you know what I mean? What they tell us, for us to give us any type of job, we have to be already on contract. So we have to have somebody come down here and inspect, and that's not going to happen like that fast. I mean, we're working on it, and if I want to go and do fires in Montana, I have to be on a Florida state contract first, and they have to come down there and certify everything and blah, blah, blah. And it takes probably a month or two because everybody's moving super slow.
Yep.
But by that time, Montana is already burned down. So my issue is that if it declares a state of emergency, unless you're on a federal contract or a state contract already,
right,
you're not getting the work.
And that can be true. That's not 100% true, but that definitely helps. That's why I've already given you one of the best kept secrets out there, and that's registering with the state, county, and disaster divisions. Because if they hire you and FEMA takes over, they'll more than likely keep you.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense for it. It's just that it doesn't make sense if somebody needs help that you gonna go through all this paperwork and and be like, okay, well, you got to sign all this paperwork before the house burns down, but the house is burning, and you keep signing paperwork, and by the time you're done signing paperwork, the house burned down.
Exactly. Well,
so it's like
that's what I was asking too. If this is something you guys are serious about, if you're just kicking tires, because if you're serious about it, that means you're going to want to do it from now on. And if that's the case, you're definitely going to want to get registered properly and do it right, so you're not wasting your time.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to see is you call me back in 6 months and say, you know what, John Wayne, you were right. We submitted 40 bids. We didn't win any. I finally figured out that I could do a debriefing. Come to find out we didn't win any of these because we weren't even properly registered to begin with, and I wasn't submitting them right.
Okay. All right. So so just kind of like just tell me what you offer then. I mean, you go from there.
You can buy 1 hour of training one-on-one like we're doing right now. It's $275. You can buy 1 week of group training where you can get on every day at 1 and 4 for half an hour. Excuse me. And that's $275 for the week. If you want to do this and do it right and get serious about it and have me to work with every day for the next year, it's $1,950. It's less than $2,000. You're going to have access to me every day for the next 360. Well, I don't work on the weekends, fortunately. But you're going to have access to me for the next year, and I can include the basic registration in that. If you also, this is going to be your best bet right here. I already checked. You're not set up for simplified acquisitions. Okay. Do you know what a simplified acquisition is?
No.
Okay. You can still see my screen, right?
Yeah, but it's not. I have problems with the internet right now. It's
Okay,
not.
I can send you the link. Right now under helicopter,
Mhm.
there's 170,864 federal contracts in the system right now under helicopter. Under
1,780,000, you say,
170,000.
on the helicopter.
Yep, I'm going to email you a copy right now so you've got it, and then also the link to the website so when you do have internet later you can pull it up and check it yourself. And
Okay.
I'm recording all this so I can send you the video and you can watch it.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, well, I don't need to email you stuff because I'm recording it. Duh. All right, so there's 170,864 contracts in the system right now under helicopter. Under helicopter simplified, some of these are contracts where they're buying helicopters. Some of them are contracts where they're servicing or repairing or buying parts. But some of them are contracts where they're actually renting or leasing helicopters, or in this case, leasing the copter and the pilot. Okay. A simplified acquisition is a contract that is rarely put out for bid. A lot of people call them no-bid contracts. Most of what FEMA does, they do as simplified acquisitions, because if you remember during Katrina, all those people that said it took the government a week to save us, we were stuck on this bridge or we were stuck on top of this roof of this house and the government forgot about us and didn't care. That's not the truth. The government does care and they did react immediately. But back then they had to go through a process. They had to reach out to vendors and say, we need a quote. The vendors had to put together a quote. That could take a day or two. The purchasing agent had to review the quote and choose a vendor. That could take a day or two. And then the vendor had to gas up, load up all their equipment, get all their guys together and physically drive for it. That could take a day or two. So yeah, there's no wonder why it took some people a week to get rescued because of that whole process. So FEMA doesn't do that much anymore. Most of their purchases are through simplified acquisitions because they can make a simplified acquisition 3 things without putting it out for bid. Number 1. Without getting a second quote. The rule of 2 is not mandatory on simplified acquisition. So if they try to reach out to you and there's no one else within 100 miles that does what you can do, they can't get a second quote. They can't award it. Well, they can now. The rule of 2 is no longer mandatory just for that reason. And number 3, the suggested threshold is $8 million, but it's a suggested. It's not a mandatory cap. So you'll see contracts larger than that. I have a client who just got a contract for $1 billion, and he was only $1 million company. All right. You can see these contracts in the federal procurement data system. All right. I'm not just saying they exist. There's proof, and I'm going to send you that link. I'm going to show you the very first one that pops up for $36,000 from a company called Airbus out of Grand Prairie, Texas. It was awarded on Friday, possibly in anticipation of FEMA. I don't know. No, that was just for bushing. So that's not where they actually hired. That was where they were buying parts for a helicopter. Let's try. Here it is. Transportation. Okay. So this one's a multiple obligation. It's for wildland firefighting. Type 3 helicopter, BIA Space, Tahoe, Colorado, 2017 wildland firefighting season. This was done as a simplified acquisition. There was only one offer received. There was no competition. And it was for $750,000, and they were paid $200,000 up front. So this is a prime example. They were prepaid. There was only one offer received. There was no competition.